We have Millicent Odhiambo, and we have Joy and myself, Lindsay Pollard. And man, we're just so excited. We are all the way across the globe doing Meet Me in the Middle in Mombasa, Kenya. So we're just like
I like the name.
Excited. The last segment, hopefully you watched the last segment, but this is segment 2. And we're talking with Millicent about, what's going on globally. And so we want to know from you, Millie, what's going on with COVID, with the coronavirus in Mombasa right now?
Thank you. One, COVID was a scare. And when we were told it's here with us, everybody just went wild with anxiety. Mm-hmm. And initially, it was a Nairobi city affair. It was more in Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya. Very little of it was being heard of in Mombasa. But suddenly, it has taken more root in Mombasa. And even as we are getting our reports every day, today we just had in the figures, and they tested 15 people. They were doing mass testing, and they got 15 people, and 11 people have tested positive, and all the 11 people are in Mombasa. Wow. Yesterday, again, they tested, and they got 11 people positive, and 9 of them are in Mombasa. So Mombasa has now been focused as a hotspot. Wow. And they had the government then chose not to have a lockdown because they felt that the effect of the lockdown on the citizens would be very heavy because a lot of Kenyans are living below the dollar, and the government apparently is not able to give them meals or support them through this process. So what the government did was just isolate certain areas where there was prevalence, and the kind of curtailed movement from within those counties. So like Mombasa is under limited movement, that I cannot go out of Mombasa, but I can walk within Mombasa. There are about 5 counties which have been under this type of directives. That's Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, and Nairobi area. Why? They keep talking about a lockdown, but they are not confident enough to do it because they know that there would be an uprising. But Mombasa currently is facing a focus both by government, and the president the other day announced that if the trends continue as they are, then he may painfully choose to call for a lockdown in Mombasa, not the whole country, but he will a lockdown as per the counties which are not performing very well. Mm-hmm. So far, the measures that have been taken by our government, the county government and the government so far, has been a lot of sensitization on washing hands and keeping the social distance and wearing the mask. Okay. The unfortunate thing is, like, for the last 1 day, about 1-2 days that they were providing the masks, but suddenly they are not providing them again. They have asked people to wear masks, but they are not providing for them those masks. But one thing that they did, which was very unique for Mombasa, was the governor put up sanitization booths along the ferry, because the ferry transports across about 3,000 people every day to and from the island to the mainland. So they put up sanitization booths to help in trying to disinfect, because they move in masses. Yes. And there are many. And that's the first day when the social distance was announced by government, they were literally beaten. And when the government put in a curfew, because like now we have a curfew, you can only be out up to 7 and out from 5 a.m. to 7. Okay. That's when you're allowed to be out. Okay. So even as they were trying to beat the curfew, because of the numbers, they couldn't get through the ferry, all of them on time. And it was so bad when you see policemen beating women pregnant with children because of rushing to get to the ferry. Wow. So far, those are the measures that have been taken by government to try and stop the spread of the coronavirus. Then they are quarantining people. Unfortunately, again, if you are unfortunate to be picked by government, if they test you positive and they take you for quarantine, it's the most unfortunate moment, because whether you have money or not, you're taken to an institution where you have to pay the money yourself for being kept in quarantine for 14 days. And they don't care whether you have the money or not.
So what if you
people
don't have the money?
You keep staying there. There's a woman here who is a widow. I just saw somebody posted. They had gone to visit her children. She was picked and quarantined from her house because not because she was positive then, but because she was a traced contact. You know, they're tracing contacts. Like if you are positive, yes, the contacts traced. So not that she was positive, but she was somebody who was close to a positive person. So she was picked and taken to quarantine, and she's been in quarantine for 14 days. She now needs to pay $2,000. She doesn't have money. She doesn't even earn that in her life.
Wow.
She has finished her quarantine period and she is still in quarantine. And the more she keeps staying there, the more the bill is increasing, and nobody cares. So being quarantined.
I'm sorry. How much? Okay, you said $2,000. And what's the name of the money?
Currency.
The shilling. Currency is called a shilling.
It's about 28,000 shillings. So it's $2,800.
Shillings. So what does that equate to with American money?
2,000. Right?
28,000. No, $280. It's $280.
280 American dollars.
Yes.
For her to get out of quarantine.
Yes, 280 American dollars for her to get out of quarantine.
Which
she doesn't have it
in a lifetime.
She will never pay it. Never.
So
she doesn't have even when they showed us the pictures of her children, they didn't even have food to eat. They are left. She used to go out, wash for people clothes. She washes clothes, and she's paid $3 or $2 to wash clothes, and that's what she was using to feed her family. So the government put her, and that's one case. There's so many cases they've done that too. And they're just there. Nobody has the money, and to them that's a measure. We don't know how it is helping us not spread COVID, but those are some of the measures. They are quarantining people, and they tried mass testing, but I think it didn't succeed. They don't seem to have either enough equipment, so they're not able to do mass testing. Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this. So if she can't pay the $280, do they make her stay? I mean, what happens to her?
She has still been made to stay up to now. She finished her 14 days quarantine, but she wasn't able to pay. So she still stays in, maybe until government says something and she's released. So the establishment that is taking care of her cannot let her go until maybe somebody advocates or lobbies with government to get her out of the place.
And it's such a small amount of money, and yet you said that that's like she wouldn't make that in an entire year, that amount, right?
No, you said it
because even a lifetime. Why? This is a woman who works and washes clothes for people and earns. If she earns a lot, it is $2. She earns $2.
Wow.
A lot of it she would earn $3.
Wow.
So try and divide that.
Yeah.
She has no savings. She has nothing. She lives from hand to mouth.
Wow. And she has how many children?
She has. I saw 3 of her children, and she was quarantined with a young one, who was 8 months.
Oh, wow. So she's got young children.
Yes, she has. And she's a widow, so you can be sure people will not go out there to help her. She has the family members normally abandon you, so nobody will even try to put money together to help you out of the position.
I have a question. How does the church?
I was getting ready to say the same thing. Talk about it.
Because my mind always goes back to the church, and I.
Thank you.
And I feel so bad because even when you were talking about losing your husband and all of the people that you thought were your friends that were in church abandoned you.
Mm-hmm.
What is
Mm-hmm.
what is the main religion there, and how does that play a part in someone's case like this?
Religion to me, let me see. The other day, I was even talking to my head of church here, and I was asking him, why don't you put up a pay bill number and get people to send money to help widows? Because I know widows
Yes.
within the church are suffering and struggling.
Right.
He told me he'd look into it and call the board. I've not had anybody do that. But the truth is, the church itself is not coming out strongly to help its people. The people who are helping one another so much are the Muslims.
Okay.
The Muslims are providing food. They are actually taking care of their people.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the Christians, they only want offerings and tithes. But when it comes to really going out to put in a structure to help the needy, no.
It's not in place.
That is so sad. I mean, I'm so thankful. God is going to use people from surprising places maybe to help others, but it should come from the family of God. It should come from the church, you know, that's where things should come from. And so that breaks my heart. I want to say, church, rise up. Rise up. This is your hour. This is your time.
This is your opportunity to rise up.
Yes.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. That is true.
Wow.
That is very true. And I feel so bad because I took time and even called my leader here. I told him, let's put up a pay bill number. We have people who are able. There's a widow who came to me and she had no money. She had not eaten for 2 days. And she was asking me for 5 cents, half a dollar.
Wow.
To buy some flour so that she can make some porridge. I gave her the half a dollar and she was all, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. Then I told my church, my leader, put up a pay bill. People will put in $1, $2, $10, whatever little they have. Together you'll get an amount and then ask people to call who are in need and help them as they call.
Right.
If you don't want to go out there, you feel you may be overwhelmed, but as they call, for those who are aware, as long as they run to the church, they can get something so that they don't go from the church empty-handed.
Mercy.
Who listens?
Yes. But who listens? Who listens? Oh, I love that. Okay. You know what? I mean, here we are. We're listening. So I don't know what God will do out of this, but we're listening and we'll just pray for God to do what he does.
Amen.
Because we serve a huge God and he will make a way and he will provide.
Oh, yes.
He is providing.
He is. He's a true God. It is
so,
true.
Millicent, how do you make income? What is your income? Where's your source of income from?
Currently, I would say I have no source of income because I was working in the tourism sector, but I stopped work. Actually, I had to. And from that time, I've been trying to do my work with the talent God gave me so that like I would come and speak or teach and hope to get some finances, some money.
Okay.
I look at it from the point that I do not have children who I have to take care of. So I don't need much. That's what I tell myself. So a church would call me. But unfortunately, again, churches don't give you much. They may only just give you fare. But once in a while, I would be called to a school to give a motivational talk. Then I would get some pay. Normally, they give me about 5,000 shillings. 5,000 shillings. That's about $50.
Okay.
It doesn't come consistently, but when I get it, then I sort out a few things here and there. The truth is, I live by grace. I live one day at a time.
Yes.
And the Lord's grace has been sufficient. That I can assure you.
Oh.
It has been sufficient. He's provided for me. I have not gone down. The earth has not swallowed me. I am, you can see I look healthy. I look nice. I'm smiling. I'm dressed well.
Yes, you
God's
are.
grace, God's grace has been very sufficient. And
I love it.
I've had friends, I have great friends like Paula and Lindsay who have at moments when sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to eat. And I just suddenly realized, Paula and Lindsay have sent me something. Sometimes I nearly hit the roof. I say, God, you mean this is you?
Oh. Mm.
And I've learned to live like that. I've learned to live with the expectation that God is in charge.
Yes.
Amen. Amen.
At one time, I used to get very desperate. I would cry. I would feel hopeless. I would ask myself, God, you've given me a talent. Can this talent work for me? You go to a church, you expect they'll give you something. They just give you your transport back and you say, God, and I realized, no, I am in the vineyard. There's other ways God will provide.
Mm.
So that's how I'm working. I'm still looking for something that I can do that can give me consistency because I'm still strong. I'm not frail and weak. I'm still very strong.
Amen.
It's just that opportunities have not been forthcoming very well. But if I get opportunities, I am sure I can be of support even to others. And I keep telling God, if I get it, then a lot of these people who are also struggling can find me as a tree that they can pick fruits from.
Yes.
That's my prayer.
Yes.
I love your heart. Okay, we're going to take one more break, and then I have got a really good question for you for our next session. So don't go away. Come back every
Okay. All right. Thank you.